squad. Any names that leap out of the page?
An interesting mix, isn't there? Going right from the University of Gloucestershire through to New Zealand Warriors.
Yeah, for sure. There's one thing I would say is, although there are sprinklings of experience with McCarthy, McNally, Bezic, Kay, there's a lot of inexperience in that side. So this could be put some talent. So you'd expect them to come through against Spain. The Italy game could be an interesting one.
Yep.
I'll go through Scotland as well then for the same sort of thing, but this is there in Group B with Serbia and Spain. Oh, so hold on. This can't be right because Spain can't be in two groups. But South Sydney three-quarter Campbell Graham is probably the headline name that's been put into the Scotland squad for the final European qualifiers that they face for the 2021 Rugby League World Cup. The train-on squad they've named is Brett Carter from Barrow Raiders. It feels like he's been playing for longer than I've been watching the sport. David Scott from the Batley Bulldogs, Brandon Wilkinson, Frankie Mariano, both from Doncaster. Craig Robertson, Lewis Clark and Mikey Mayer from the Edinburgh Eagles. Matt Hogg from Edinburgh Eagles / Newcastle University. Scott Plumage from Glasgow RL. Ben Kavanagh from Halifax. Kieran Buchanan from Hull FC, the young outside back.
Yep.
Danny Addy, Kane Linnett and Will Oakes from Hull KR. Davey Dixon and Kieran Moran from the Keighley Cougars. Nick Glower from the Lakes United Seagulls. Callum McClelland from Leeds Rhinos. Liam Hood from Leeds Centurions. Ben Halliwell from London Broncos. Charlie Emsley and Connor Tyrrell from Millham. Dan Turland from Millwillumbah Mustangs. Neil Sidney and Sam Luckley from the Newcastle Thunder. Lachlan Stein from the Newtown Jets. Isaac Farrell from the Rochdale Hornets. Adam Walker from Salford. Campbell Graham, who we talked about. Lachlan Coote and Luke Douglas from St Helens. Murray Mitchell and Niall Hall from the Strathmore Silverbacks. Oscar Thomas from Swinton. Ryan Braley from Toronto. James Bell from Toulouse. Hamish Bentley and Kane Bentley from Toulouse as well. From Toulouse Olympic Elite, sorry, so they must be playing for Toulouse's French league side. Joe McLean and Sam Heron from the West Wales Raiders. Alex Walker, who's now of Wakefield. Brett Phillips of Whitehaven. And Dale Ferguson and Oliver Wilkes. Oliver Wilkes, I'm convinced he isn't really going to retire.
No, he'll come back in a little bit, won't he?
Yeah, one thing that's interesting, obviously, is they need to find a new halfback situation, don't they, for Scotland. Callum McClelland and Ryan Braley surely will be a class apart for whoever they do face, be it Serbia and Spain or someone else, because Spain can't be in both groups, surely.
I'm just trying to see what I can't work it all out.
No. Anyway,
Greece. I think you're missing Greece.
Ah, right, there you go. I'd say that's a relatively strong squad, though, for Scotland.
Greece are playing Scotland and Serbia.
There you go. You would fancy Scotland, wouldn't you, to make way there? Do you want to tell us the England Nines World Cup squad? Yep,
so in the England Nines World Cup squad, it's James Graham from St George Illawarra Dragons, who's the captain. Tom Burgess from South Sydney, Darryl Clark from Warrington, Jake Connor from Hull FC, Ryan Hall from Sydney Roosters, Ash Handley from Leeds, Jack Hughes from Warrington, Reece Lynn from Wakefield, Jermaine McGilvray from Huddersfield Giants, Ryan Sutton from Canberra Raiders, Sam Tompkins from Catalan Dragons, Jake Truman from Castleford Tigers, Liam Watts from Castleford Tigers, Elliot Whitehead from Canberra Raiders, Gareth Widdop from St George Illawarra Dragons, and George Williams currently at Wigan.
What do you make of that squad? I mean, we don't really know what to expect of Nines because none of our players have really played it apart from that very brief kind of academy team Nines tournament about 6 years ago.
Yeah, you see, I was surprised that Connor got a call up, but actually maybe in Nines it would really suit his game.
Yeah, you look at that actually. We've got some serious pace, haven't we?
Yeah, and then I was just
Clark,
looking
Connor,
Lynn.
Handley, Lynn.
McGilvery.
McGilvery, who showed his pace last night because typical Yorkshire man that he obviously is, he ran out of the Man of Steel Awards, the Super League Awards night, to the car park to try and make sure he paid before he ticked over another hour, but he missed the quick way in, so obviously that meant he only ended up 2 people in front of me, even though he ran right past me. I did tell him it was slippy. He needed to be careful. He had some nines to play, but he said no, he needs to get back into training, so he needed to warm up.
Yeah.
There you go. But yeah, quite a few halfbacks and stuff. I think some of these players are actually on like a backup list that maybe will be drafted in if there's any injuries and stuff. But quite a lot of creative players in there as well, isn't there? When you talk about Connor, Tompkins, Truman, Widdop and Williams, but Williams is another really fast player in there, I suppose, as well. You've got to talk about in that regard.
Yeah. Interesting that we've only got one out-and-out hooker, haven't we?
Yeah, and I'm trying to think like how the nines has kind of worked over the years when you've watched the NRL nines and all the years back to the Northern Rail nines that I remember the Blackpool Panthers triumphed in magically back in the day. Wow, that was quite a day. And I'm trying to think how much of influence hookers have, but I actually think it's quite important dummy half because.
Yeah, you just think
you've got 2 things there, haven't you? A really wide pass in nines will open things up massively, but also someone really quick out of there. But maybe they're thinking scooting is the thing to.
Yeah, I suppose you get your Connors, your Lynns, your McGilverys to pick up and run.
Yeah, exactly. Then you're going to make ground with those guys, aren't you? They're super fast. France have named their 9 squad as well. Catalans dominated, as you might expect. Lucas Albert, Jason Battieri, Alrix da Costa, Lambert Balmes, Artur Romano and Artur Morg from Catalans. Jordan Dazaria, Paul Marcon, Gavin Marguerite, Justin Sangare and Mathieu Juzeme from Toulouse. Bastien Canet from Carcassonne. Charles Buzinac and Lilian Albert from Lesignan. Thomas Lasvenez, I was doing so well from Villeneuve.
You were.
Hakim Maludi from Toronto and Louis Jouffre from the Featherstone Rovers. That's a young squad to me. Jason Battieri is obviously experienced, but a lot of those guys are younger.
But again, you've got quite a lot of speed, quite a lot of unpredictability there, so it's quite an exciting looking team.
Yeah, Arthur Moore could be an exciting player in that side, I think. So he'll be one to look out for, I think, in that one. PNG have announced theirs as well. Sarah, do you want to give us their squad for the Nines World Cup?
Yeah, so there's Stargroth Amien from Barra Raiders, Watson Bowers from Doncaster, Edwin Epe, Aideen Gabby from Wynham Manly. I don't correct your pronunciation. Lachlan Lamb, Bernard Lewis from Sydney Roosters, Kyle Laybutt from Townsville Blackhawks, Gary Lair, Terry Wappy from the PNG Hunters, Reece Martin from Leeds, Justin Erlam from Melbourne Storm, Nixon Putt from North Devils, Daniel Russell from the North Queensland Cowboys, James Seguiera from Brisbane.
He won't be playing.
Broncos, Jadudia Simbiken from the Redcliffe Dolphins, and Stanford Talaita from Hella Wigman.
Yeah, James Seguiara has picked himself up a drugs ban, hasn't he? So he won't be playing. I was only trying to help. But I mean, Lachlan Lamb's the star name there, isn't he? I think in that side. But Reece Martin's there for Leeds Rhinos fans to cheer on. Yeah. I'm sure we'll hear more about the 9 squads over the next few weeks. The women's 9 squad was announced a few weeks ago, wasn't it? But good luck to all those guys as they fly over next Saturday after the women's grand final on Friday night. So, and I think it's going to be televised. Do we know that now? Yeah, I think we'd know that, don't we? Maybe. I can't remember. I don't. We'll see. Anyway, the 9s is starting to ramp up, and the new kit came out as well for the 9s, which was very exciting for England 9s. The men and the women wearing very similar kits. Right, okay, we've delayed long enough, Sarah. We're going to have to talk about the Super League match reviews. Just one game to go over this week. Right, it was the second semi-final in Super League's playoffs then, and it was the Wigan Warriors hosting the Salford Red Devils in front of probably a 50-50 split crowd of 9,858. Well done to the travelling Salford fans. Again, found their way to the DW when they can't find their way to the AJ Bell. I don't say that in a mean way. I really hope that this is a start of something for that fan base.
Yeah.
Because the small group of consistent fans they have, we praise so often. It would be great for that small group to be a medium-sized group, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and you know something, like, they didn't travel in big numbers to Hull this year, but you heard them the whole match.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like that hardcore is absolutely
Hardcore.
So passionate. They can outsing a full stadium. So when there's 5,000 of them, they definitely had a lot more to sing about than Wigan. Ben Fayler was the referee, and the match ended 28-4 in Salford's favour with a late consolation for Wigan. Seemingly the way that we want to do these playoffs is Bevan French scoring the last try but not being in the game. It was 12-0 at half-time, and Salford hammered that advantage home in the second half. In terms of the stats, Wigan had a 4.1% better team tackle success rate and even made an extra break.
Oh, that was good of them.
I know, fantastic. But that's where the good stuff ends. 12 errors to Salford's 2 was a big factor in this result. Salford also made over 200 more metres and 0.7 metres per carry better average gain and had more successful offloads. Individually, Josh Jones, 8 tackle busts, 160 metres, 3 successful offloads.
Good lad.
Ken Seo, 155 metres. George Flanagan, 46 tackles, 13 of which were marker tackles, and Christian Inu, 105 metres. For Wigan, this is a remarkable number. I don't know if I believe it, but you know how everyone made loads and loads out of the number for Morgan Smithy's total tackle count the other week?
Yeah.
Well, Sam Powell made 64 tackles, which is fantastic, listed as making 25 marker tackles. That's insane.
To be fair, Joshua's captain Elijah makes 25 marker tackles each week.
There you go. Willie Ice, 47 tackles, 10 of which were marker tackles, also 7 tackle busts. Morgan Smithy's 44 tackles, 13 of which were marker tackles, and Oliver Gildar, 140 metres. Do you want to get on the first of the fan views?
Yeah, I was just looking. That means that there were 48 marker tackles from those 3 players. That's quite an impressive stat, isn't it?
Yeah, really hard working. Smithies started the game on the bench but was on after 15 minutes or so. And Powell played the full 80, even though I don't think he's fully fit. But that is a remarkable effort, isn't it?
64 tackles if you're not fully fit. Not bad.
Well, his wrist, he must be. I don't know how he's managed it. You've got to credit him, haven't you, for that? But the real credit probably goes to Salford.
Yeah,
so
I'm feeling sorry for you, so I'm trying to say some nice positive things about some of your players here.
We all know that tackle stats aren't the stats that people pay the big bucks for, though, Sarah.
Yeah, so Bandwagon Carsten says, I see the Salford Reds are rising. I see the Reds are on the way. Don't go out tonight unless you're red and white. I see the Reds are on the way. Wigan missed not only the start of the game, they missed the complete game. And the fairy tale goes on. And Carsten, you need to proofread.
What's his second language? He doesn't correct you, Sarah. Shoddy Mungo said, Coach of the Year.
That's a bit of a spoiler there, Alan.
Oh yeah, we made this big play about Reedy's blog, and look what he's just done.
Yeah, and you've just read it out, Mark. At David Laura said, 100% Salford were the better team. Wigan ran out of steam, but Salford completely outplayed a tired-looking Wigan. For 80 minutes next Saturday, I will be a Salford fan, and then afterwards, do you think they'll lend us their coach for, say, 3 years?
Tom Andrews said, the fairy tale continues. The gang of cast-offs